Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome NAMA's board chair, Mark Diefenbach.
Good morning. That was great. As the NAMA chairman, I want to again personally thank you for being here. Just a word about this OneShow. We are off to an amazing start. This year's OneShow features the largest show floor to date. A couple of important numbers. We have 248 exhibitors, including 57 first-time exhibitors. So a round of applause for those folks. With that, I'd now like to call the 2013 annual meeting of NAMA to order. Our brief business today is the election of candidates for the NAMA Board of Directors. Brad Ellis served as chair of the 2013 nominating committee, and thanks go to Brad and the committee who worked hard to consider a list of well-qualified candidates. Their goal was to select the very best leaders with passion, vision, and commitment to serve you and the industry. I'll ask each nominee to stand in place as I call your name and remain standing until after the vote is completed. For a 3-year term expiring June 30th, 2016, incumbent board members Todd Elliott, Tomdra Incorporated; Steve Hyde, Brewtech; Rod Nestor, Smith Vending Corporation; Tom Reynolds, PepsiCo Food Service; and Greg Sidwell, G&J Marketing. New board members: Dan Hart, Southern Refreshment Services; Randy Smith, Lightspeed Automation; and Jeff Whitaker, Food Express. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the candidates proposed by your nominating committee. As provided in the bylaws, all NAMA members were notified that they could make additional nominations in writing before this meeting. None were made. May I have a motion and a second that these candidates be elected to the NAMA Board of Directors? I have a motion. Second? Second. The motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion carries. These individuals are elected to the NAMA Board of Directors. Congratulations. I'd like to extend a warm and personal welcome to our new directors and extend my thanks to those who were reelected. We appreciate your time, energy, and experience. We have completed all formal business. May I have a motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Thank you. Now I have the pleasure of turning our attention to the Positioning for Growth campaign. I'm so thankful for support from so many of you as part of our industry-wide fundraising effort to raise $5 million, funded over the next 5 years. With the exemplary leadership of the campaign National Steering Committee, we made tremendous strides this year. With that, I'd like to call former 2-time chair of the board, current chairman of the Positioning for Growth campaign, Mr. Jim Terry, to the stage. On behalf of NAMA and our board of directors, I would like to personally thank you for your leadership, your enthusiasm, and your tireless effort in leading this important industry effort for the past 15 months. We are now near our goal of raising $5 million, and that's because of your hard work. In appreciation, I'd like to present this award, which signifies our gratitude to you.
Good morning. I can't see if we've got the entire room filled, but thank you for coming this morning very early to be out in Las Vegas, but thank you. And congratulations to all the new board members that were recently elected just moments ago. And I want to congratulate Carla and the team on what I thought yesterday morning was the best opening session that I think we've had in NAMA since I've been involved. And so congratulations to Carla and the staff an outstanding opening yesterday morning. I don't know who had the idea to get Magic Johnson there, but he knocked it out of the park. I think Dan Matthews told me it was his idea. At least he's claiming it now. So, Dan, good job on that. Today we're going to celebrate really the capital campaign, if you will, industry awards, and then Newt's going to bring it home this morning. So we've got another, I think, day two will be very, very impactful. You know, every time I come to Las Vegas, and I'm going off script here a bit, so Jim, just bear with me, unusual things seem to happen to me. Like last night after the parties, it was about 9 o'clock, I was going up the elevator, had on my suit, didn't have on my name badge, and these older ladies with the little coin purses were heading up the elevator with me. So they've been playing the nickel slot machines or whatever. One of them looks at me and she says, are you one of the Chippendales? So I'm thinking, how do I answer this? Do I say, no, ma'am, and move on? Or do I say, yes, ma'am, and where do you want me to leave the tickets? Well, the elevator stopped, the door opened, I got off, and the answer came to me just like that. I turned to him and I said, actually, I'm one of the Clydesdales. The door closes, I hear them laughing all the way up the next 4 floors. So when you come to Vegas, you got to be prepared for unusual questions and circumstances. And Mark, thank you for that warm introduction and for the recognition this morning. It really is a privilege to be before this group of today. But I want to start by just telling you, when Brad and Mark asked me to chair this second capital campaign, I really kind of paused for a bit because I wasn't really sure what to expect. By all accounts, the first campaign, you might remember, when Endowing the Future, was a big success. We raised right at $5 million at a time when the economy wasn't near as tough as it is today. So I was a little bit hesitant in that, and Mark and Brad, they saw that, but they assured me they would recruit 2 rock stars for me to really make sure the campaign met its goals. So I'm thinking Mick Jagger. I'm thinking Rod Stewart. I'm thinking Faith Hill. Well, I really got the next best thing. Actually, it turned out to be even better. So representing both the operator and the OCS sides of the business, my fellow co-chairs graciously stepped up to the plate when the organization and I personally really needed them the most. And they've been really, really instrumental in driving strategy and activity really since day one. So joining me on the stage now, let's welcome Mark Whitener from Refreshment Solutions and Howard Chapman from Royal Cup to the stage. Let's give it up. It took a little arm twisting, I think, to get them to do this, just a little. But really, on behalf of the Board of Directors and the Positioning for Growth campaign, I'd like to recognize and really say thank you. Thank you for outstanding leadership. I'll emphasize that, leadership and service. And your efforts have really helped NAMA in this industry put us on a path of growth, and we'll be forever grateful for you two guys for doing that. So thank you. Thank you very much. So I think we have some awards. We have a photo opportunity in between. My pleasure. Any more? Need to send some of those home now. Yeah. Thank you all. Those guys did all the heavy lifting. I was just sort of the face on the campaign material. I know Howard and Mark would agree that when I say there was no small task to raise $5 million over a 12-month period, but we really couldn't have done it without really, I'll call an army, if you will, an army of leaders who helped spread the campaign message across the entire industry. At this time, I want to acknowledge the entire Campaign National Steering Committee for their unwavering commitment to the success of this campaign, because without these individuals, we couldn't have raised $5 million. So I'd like the following individuals to really stand and really remain standing until I've announced all of the members of the National Steering Committee. We've got the house lights up, so if you'll stand as I call your name and remain standing till the conclusion. Howard Fisher, Pat Haggerty, I think Pat's in the back, Dennis Hogan, Vic Pemberton, Jonathan Peters, Mary Rampey, Tom Reynolds, he's in the back, Tony Schroeder, Greg Sidwell, and Pete Tullio. Those are the members of the committee, National Steering Committee. So thank you for your outstanding leadership and support. And again, we could not have done this without each and every one of you. Okay, in case you really haven't been, excuse me, in case you weren't already impressed by the amount these 12 individuals helped raise on behalf of the industry, perhaps a few statistics will help you really appreciate not only the efforts of our volunteer leadership, but also the overwhelming response and generosity of the campaign received from over 100 companies, of which many of them in the audience today. While we can't really recognize all the donors that contributed to the stage this morning, I want all the campaign supporters to know how meaningful your commitments are and how they have contributed to the total success of the campaign. So please join me in really thanking all of the campaign investors across the system. Thank you. Now let me share with you really, I think what I call the 4 key accomplishments of this campaign, just to give you some, if you will, some metrics around it. First, the 5-year five-year average pledge to the campaign stayed steady throughout the campaign at about $50,000. So that was all really solid all the way through. Of the 100 companies that stepped up to support the campaign, 51% of those were operators. So what that tells me is that the NAMA operators really have skin in the game with this, and we're willing to step up to support the industry growth for the future campaign. Number 3 is 58% of the supporters of this campaign didn't support the campaign 9 years ago when we raised that other $5 million. And this really showed me that we have enhanced engagement among the industry membership that really are buying into this whole growth idea that's so important to our business. And number 4, the Positioning for Growth campaign also experienced, I'll say, stellar participation among members who supported the campaign last time in 2004, with over 70% of those companies gave as much or if not more. And on average, the companies that gave more averaged 200% increases in what they put in last time. So that speaks, I think, volumes for the support of the campaign by companies that had supported us before. So really, when you sum that all up, really what the key takeaway is that the NAMA members are passionate about the vision of the future and want to be more involved in helping and shape the direction of this industry. And I hope you all will agree with that. Now I'd like to recognize companies that really took the idea of strategic partnerships, if you will, to a new level. To do this, I'd like to invite Carla, Howard, and Mark back to the stage with me to help me with this. So if you guys could join me up here. Each with a 5-year commitment of 6 figures or more, the following companies made significant strides to not only support the campaign at substantial financial levels, but also through their time and their talent. So on behalf of the board and the National Steering Committee, I'd like to welcome representatives from the following companies to the stage to acknowledge their leadership and support at levels that truly demonstrate their commitment to growing this great business. First, Tony Schroeder, Advanced Pierre Foods. Jonathan Peters, Airmark Refreshment Services. Steve Lucia, Canteen Vending. Tom Barlow, my partner in crime from Coca-Cola Refreshments. Ben McElroy, Dr. Pepper Snapple Group. Rick Anatasi, General Mills. Bill McCauley, Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. And Steve Van Dusen, Mars Incorporated. Paul Schindelar, Mondelez International. And our chairman, Mark Diffenbach, the Hershey Company. And Mr. Pat Haggerty, Vistar. Let's hear it for this group. Thank you again. While NAMA is so grateful for the outpouring of support from its members, there's really one member in particular that really stood out or stands out above the rest. You know, now and again, there are times that I need to take off my Coca-Cola hat, although I'm retired, and put on my industry hat. And now is really one of those times. Not only did this company double their commitment to this campaign, but they're one of the very first companies to announce their commitment, helping to kick off the campaign at last year's OneShow, and really gave us sort of the springboard of the momentum this campaign needed on the front end. Their leadership has been evident in both the role this company has played being an active member on the National Steering Committee, but also in the dozens of companies they inspired to support the campaign. It is with great pleasure that I welcome Tom Reynolds, Vice President and General Manager of PepsiCo, to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Reynolds.
Well, good morning, and thank you. And thank you, Jim, for your contributions to the campaign and to your exceptional leadership throughout the last year. So let's give it up for Jim. It's my honor to speak to the group today about the campaign. We at PepsiCo were thrilled that we were able to make a significant financial contribution to this campaign. And we did it for a few key reasons. Number one, we believe in the strategic direction for NAMA. Secondly, we believe in the ability of the NAMA staff to go out and execute the plan, the strategic plan, particularly in the areas of advocacy, research, PR. Third, we, as a large company in the industry, believe that we need to help the member operator companies grow and prosper. So finally, net, we believe in this great industry, and that's why we made this contribution. So thanks to everyone who contributed to the campaign, most especially the folks that you saw up here earlier who really went above and beyond the call of duty. For those of you who have not made a contribution, I would urge you to make a contribution financially as well as with your time. We have a number of committees that we'd love to have people from all over the country take part in the state councils in terms of advocacy, help us at the grassroots level. There's a lot of help we can use from people in this room and beyond. So together, we believe we can act as one so we can re-energize this awesome industry. So thank you for your time.
Tom and Jim, I just want to thank you both personally for your leadership and for your roles in making the success that we're celebrating here today possible. There's two other folks that I want to just thank real quickly, if I could. First, I had a privilege of attending the State Council breakfast this morning, and I just want to call out a number that the state councils across the U.S. have contributed nearly $200,000 to the Positioning for Growth campaign. So thanks to you and the grassroots effort, that's a major contribution, so thank you for that. And secondly, and I would be remiss if we didn't call these folks out because they really kind of steer us through the project, if you will. Association Development Solutions, Lindsay Nelson and Dave Hanneman, they were the folks that really were instrumental in guiding us through this process, so I want to recognize them as well. Thank you very much. Now, this is the best part of today's program. In addition to the Positioning for Growth campaign, I'm just really pleased to recognize leaders in our industry. The NAMA Awards are given to people with vision, passion, and dedication. The awards are for those who support our industry and our communities. The people we're recognizing represent true leaders, all of whom are at the forefront of our industry. Their innovation has helped deliver real growth for their businesses and will serve as an example of success for so many others. For the first of today's 5 awards, I'd like to kick things off with the Allied Member of the Year for Coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me congratulate Jeff Rollins, Allied Member of the Year for Coffee.
Wow, what an honor. Thank you so much. I'm going to get very, very personal. 2 years and 9 months ago in Las Vegas here, I was at a wedding. My niece was getting married, and I was walking down the hall to the wedding, and I fell down, and I couldn't get up. Somehow I made it back to Murrieta, California, where I live, down the 15. And 2 days later, I found myself in the emergency room. And while Las Vegas is a really happy place, it's also and can be kind of a sad place. I have a brother that lives here, and he's unfortunately on the street, homeless. So my heart goes out to him and others like him. And I would ask you today to think about others. So I've got just a few comments on that. As I lay in the emergency room, there was a young 21-year-old man that came in with his parents, and he had been in a motorcycle accident. And he unfortunately passed. The shrill and the heartache of both of his parents really took me as I laid there looking up at this white sheet, wondering what my fate might be. And I called out to God. I said, hey, why didn't you take me? I'm older. He's only 21. I'm in the classroom of life with God. Kick me out of school. Let him stay. That unfortunately did not work out. But I needed a lot of help, so I got some help from my friends in this industry. And I like to say just a couple of things about that. The manufacturers, Robin Baker, who was absolutely fantastic and walked me through a lot of issues. Arnie D'Angelo with IMS, who flew from Easton, Connecticut to California twice to see me in my recovery. Some of my colleagues at NUCO, Pat McGuire, came in. It was absolutely awesome. The brokers, Focus 365 and Jeanette, fantastic. And thank you, Jeanette. I appreciate it so much. Bob Matias and Lisa Matias from BBI, absolutely wonderful. Atnip Company with Chrissy Borowitz and Larry Atnip, and Larry and I went to the same high school. It was maybe a few years different. Really took care of me, gave me that inspiration to continue on. I had competitors. Dan Walsh from Vistar came to see me. Singh and Monty Aurora from Benmar in Northern California came to see me. It was absolutely terrific. My customers were fantastic. Jonas from Alta Foodcraft and Ray Mejia from Take a Break and Pete Tullio all came in to see me and gave me the inspiration to make it through. And I did that. And I was completely paralyzed. I also had a syndrome called Miller-Fisher syndrome, which affects your face. So from paralyzed to today, people will come up that have heard maybe a little bit and say, how are you doing? And I'm doing absolutely terrific. I have a little tingling in my hands, but other than that, it's been a really great experience. My people at Vin Catering, Alan Detweiler and Jeffrey Dewar and Julie and Ryan Riot, who's now with Aramark. And we have a gal, Crystal Vance, who's 26 years old at the time, came out every single Sunday on her time off, an hour one way, to see how I was doing. It was terrific. I worked for a lot of big players in this industry, one of which was Harold Stuber. Great guy, terrific to work with. Dick Allen with Servitron, terrific to work with. Probably the best, however, is my current employer with Steve Shapiro, who's been a friend and very supportive when I was looking like and feeling like and close to death. And Steve and I appreciate it so much. Thank you, NAMA. If you get a chance, give the homeless guy $1 out there. And I appreciate this award very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me congratulate Jeff Deichler, Coffee Operator of the Year.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning. I've got a lot of people that have helped me get here today, and I wanted to recognize those, and it's a pretty lengthy list, so I'm going to get right into that. First, I'd like to thank Roger Stewart and Dean Gilland for being working so hard for the coffee industry and the coffee service industry here at NAMA. They've been a tremendous help in my years here involved with NAMA. I'd like to thank Howard Fisher, a couple of guys that have been mentors for me since I started in the coffee business. Mr. Howard Fisher has always been there as a great friend and a lot of help. And probably my best buddy in all of this industry, Mr. Steve Hyde. He's been more than a good friend and a lot of help, and I certainly appreciate that, Steve. Thank you. Some of my employees made it out, co-workers made it out, made a special trip out from Wichita yesterday, and I can't tell you folks how much I appreciate what you do every day. Paul Hawley, Corey Losey, Linda Koch, and Linda could very well be the person up here today. She's that good, and I owe her a lot and taught me a lot since day one. A couple of our corporate staff, Linda Gerhard, Kathy Coker, thank you girls for being here. I certainly appreciate that. And a guy that gave me an opportunity a few years ago, and he's a guy that motivates us, inspires us, and challenges us every day to do our best, and that would be Mr. C.R. Hall, the president of our company. Thank you, C.R. I sure appreciate everything you've done for me. And lastly, today, the most important people of my support group, my family. My wife, Marcia, my daughter, Caitlin, and my son, Aaron, are here today. Thank you so much for your support through the years. I appreciate everything you've done, especially that day I came home years ago and said, after 27 years, I'm going to change a complete change in a career path, and I received their support from day one. So thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you.
recipient was also a strong commitment to their consumers through initiatives to increase information about healthy food choices. This year's award goes to someone whose innovative perspective and support from General Mills special market schemes together shape a significant element of our industry, including microbiology. A staunch supporter of active member of NAMA and past service on state councils in Arizona, Illinois, and the Pacific Northwest, he is on the board of the California Council. While on the honor, in 2011, General Mills was named Supplier of the Year by OneShow and again in 2012 by CBAC. He's also won a highly credible rating excellence honor by Barry Mills. Our board says he's most thankful that General Mills shared dedication to giving back. He volunteered to help homeless children in Los Angeles and has worked to build homes for Hurricane Katrina survivors in New Orleans.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Mark Kelly, Allied Member of the Year for vending.
Wow. Thank you very much. This is really an honor. I'd like to thank NAMA right up front and the industry itself. This is really a special moment for me. 3 weeks ago, when Carla called me to tell me about this award, I started to run about 1,000 different speeches through my mind. Today, I can tell you I'm not sure which one's going to come forward. But that's okay. I've been telling a couple of associates recently that I didn't want to prepare anything. It was something I felt that needed to come more from my heart than my head. And so hopefully that's what will be conveyed today. Without doubt, I've got to thank General Mills. It's an amazing company to work for. My manager is not only my boss, he's honestly my coach, my mentor, and my friend. That's Rick Anastasi. But we have cross-functional teams that support us every single day. So if I'm receiving this honor, quite frankly, it's because of their hard work and what they do. So they honestly do make me look good. I also need to thank my wife. She's the one who believes in me. She's the one that stands by me, so I'm here much today because of her efforts and what she does every day. Yesterday, we had a broker kickoff meeting, and I realized early on when I was thanking our broker network for their contributions that this was probably going to be very tough for me. I got emotional very early on, and so I'll just warn you right now that at any moment, things could take a turn, so, and not a bad way. But I do want to say that I think what we owe the industry needs to be acknowledged, and we all are smart people. There isn't a person in this room that isn't a solid leader and that isn't a smart person. But what else do you got? I mean, I think that's how we need to think about this. And when we do, our industry that supports us every single day and does just amazing things will be all the much better. So I'll just leave you with that. And then again, I'll say thank you very much for this honor. It really touches me. Thank you.
These women have grown up our business, excelling in sales, service, and technology, and we show extraordinary leadership
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to congratulate Todd Elliott, Vending Operator of the Year.
What an honor. I want to thank Mark and Carla and Dan and everybody at NAMA, the board of directors. What an awesome group, what an awesome job they're doing, and thank you for this award. It's very humbling to know so many awesome operators in this business and get to know them. So I really thank you for that. There's been a couple themes going around the last couple days that Carla brought up. One is customer service and the industry, excellence, family, all those things apply here. And this industry itself is, the longer you're in it, the more it becomes a family. We're all working together with NAMA. We're a NAMA, actually, all of us in here. And we're trying to set the standards, trying to protect the playing field so we have somewhere to continue to do business, and we appreciate all the efforts that they're doing there. Of course, coming a little closer to home, we're all working together as a team, something Magic said yesterday, and that's true, because everybody in here, we're all on the same team in the sense of the NAMA. We're moving forward. The sense that the suppliers, as an operator, we have the supplier network that's really helping support us through this. And then, of course, we're all trying to accomplish the same thing, and that's excellent customer service experience. But I want to thank, many people to thank, and, being in associations, state level, to see everybody come together and work together is what's really, encouraging. And in this case, I'm going to bring it a little closer to home. I've got the family. Like I say, I grew up in the business. It's an awesome industry. And, I have to thank my parents, for sticking their neck out and starting it. And you got the Tom and the Sandra, which is where the Tomdra comes from. So, and, what great examples and mentors they've been in my life. Work ethic, how to treat people fairly, how to love people, and that's just been awesome. And also, as a couple, how to be a good marriage, celebrating 57 years this month. So awesome. I also, work with siblings, as many of you do in this room, and that's can be great and challenging sometimes. But in most cases, it really stretches you. You get some, in our family, a lot of good ideas, a lot of support. We battle things out. But I want to thank my sister, Tina Elliott, that's worked in the business, and many of you know. She's also, been involved in the association. She was on the board and, giving back to the industry. And my brother, Tommy, who's works side by side, day by day, and he also is president of the Arizona Association and giving back. So thank them. And, of course, my family, my wife, Cindy, we've been soulmates for over 32 years, and just an awesome lady, and she gives me encouragement, and she's the iron that sharpens me a lot of the time, so we just thank her. And of course we have my children that have supported me in all this, and they support our business as well. They, whether it's at home or at the business, they're there, and I appreciate that so much. And we probably, maybe a third generation coming through. no pressure, because, you know, but they have some great ideas, and they're bringing a new, fresh look to the industry moving forward. So, and of course, our suppliers, the brokers, are just awesome people in this industry. I mean, I consider most of them my friends, personal friends, and, you know, the brokers such as Focus 360, Kathy and Jeanette, they've just been awesome, and the ATNIP companies, of course, the suppliers, Vane Catering, Vistar, you know, the technology people, you know, the Cantaloupes and the MEIs and, you know, the USAs, all these people that are helping push our industry forward and giving us the support as an industry. For me personally, I think the industry looks bright. You know, we've all made it through the tough times, but now it's a renaissance, in my opinion, to move forward. And like I say, I thank everybody for partnering with me to push me along, and especially the family and friends. So thank you so much for this award. It's quite an honor, and I'll cherish it. Thank you.
For our final award this morning, we're recognizing the Industry Person of the Year. This award goes to an individual who has consistently exemplified the highest standard of professional excellence throughout his career and who has been an inspiration for others. We're acknowledging the leadership of one individual whose passion and commitment to the industry is unparalleled. This person is a very good friend of mine, and his award is especially meaningful since I know a little bit about the job he's taking on in the coming year. Let's roll the video.
This family's legacy of lending and reflective service began in 1978 with a career senior at Rupert, Southern California. Peter Jr. was working as an attorney in Chicago when his father convinced him to join him in worldwide lending. The family had recently purchased. Less than a year after Pete Jr. relocated to Southern California, his father passed away. He fell in love, soon joined a partnership in the Midwest, making his way to the TV news business to lending. There was even a vice president of worldwide lending also joined the partnership. As the company continued to grow, in 1994, John Fisher joined the team. Together, they founded Corporate Monkey Service, which has enjoyed explosive growth, setting the bar for office lending in Southern California. And so, Paul Peter joined the company in 2003. Now manages the fast-growing Orange County office. The company generously gives back to the community. For more than 15 years, Pete has been on the board of directors of the Rancho San Antonio Boys Home in Chatsworth, California, helping transition troubled young boys to become part of the community. Gourmet Coffee Service also supports the Shade Youth Center at Shepherd Valley Church in West Hills, California, along with the Donald House in Orange County. Our award winners' leadership spans more than a decade of service, both to the California State Council as well as to NAMA.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Pete Tullio, NAMA's Industry Person of the Year.
Thank you, Mark, for your kind and very personalized comments. I really appreciate that. And thank you all for this incredible honor. As I look over the roster of the prior winners of this award, I'm somewhat in awe to believe that I could be thought of as being in their company. It is truly gratifying. My first contact with NAMA was a long time ago. I was 10 years old, and my father, who had been in the industry for a number of years, took me to a NAMA show in Chicago. The only thing I can remember from that is that I walked out of there with 2 very large shopping bags full of candy. As you can see, there's a few things that haven't changed in the NAMA culture. So here it was, a week before Halloween. I'm going to go back to the neighborhood. I'm a hero. And all I could think to myself was, who are these people? Fast forward to 1979, and I entered the industry. And for the next 34 years, I got a pretty good idea of who the people of NAMA were. Turns out I was surrounded by them. It all started with my father, a man with entrepreneurial spirit, the will to succeed, and the drive to be the best that he could be at what he did. And my mother, Alexandria, who worked for our company for 10 years. And she exhibited those same values and never let us forget them. And then I've had the incredible honor and privilege of having 3 phenomenal partners that you've heard about. My brother Bob Tullio, Larry Deegan, and John Fishman. Thanks to the synergy that we developed between us and the camaraderie and the mutual desire to be the best at what we were doing, we put together a company that we're pretty proud of today. So I proudly share this award with them. And then, of course, their partners, Peggy, Sue, and Patty. We thank them for their support over many years. And then, of course, there's the ultimate partner, my wife, Carol. And she never wavered in her support, her enthusiasm, and her encouragement for anything and everything that we did. And I truly thank her for that, and I share the award with her as well. And then there are my non-industry family members, my oldest son, Peter, who's here with us today, and my daughter, Elizabeth. And I can tell you one thing, when you have a great family, it's very easy to be successful. And then, last but not least, our employees, many of whom are here today, and I hope you get an opportunity to meet some of them. I'm especially proud of my son, Paul, who is our Orange County branch manager. He's joined here by Larry's son, Lance, who's been with us for many, many years, our vending manager. And they are joined by several other managers, Danny, Robert, Juan, and Oliver, and members from our sales department, Jennifer, Kaylin, Arthur, Nicole, and my daughter-in-law, Chelsea. I thank them for what they do because their success determines our identity. They operate where the rubber meets the road, and we thank them, and I want them to go back, and I want them to instill the rest of their fellow employees with the same feeling of accomplishment that I know that they have today. So I share this award with them as well. But as I've told a number of you, my work is not done here. As you well know, I'm the incoming chairman in July of this year. And I'm going to commit to you that I and the entire board of directors and the NAMA staff will continue to work as hard as possible to make this industry and this association as great as it can possibly be. Thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you all on the show floor.
Finally, this morning, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. Well known as the architect of the contract with America, Newt Gingrich was elected Speaker of the House in 1994. Under his leadership, Congress passed welfare reform, passed the first balanced budget in a generation, and passed the first tax cut in 16 years. In addition, the Congress restored funding to strengthen defense and intelligence capabilities. This action was later recognized by the bipartisan 9/11 Commission. As an author, Speaker Gingrich has published 23 books, including 13 New York Times bestsellers. He has also become one of the most highly sought-after public speakers, accepting invitations to present before some of the most prestigious organizations in the world, including ours. We look forward to his comments today regarding government affairs and the importance of grassroots advocacy. And on a side note, Newt was kind enough to stop by the State Council breakfast this morning and spend about a half an hour listening to the challenges that our state council associations are faced with at the local level, which I thought was truly, truly amazing. And we do appreciate him spending that extra time as well. On a personal note, the Speaker and I actually share some history together. We both have roots in a place in Pennsylvania called Hummelstown. Please join me in welcoming Newt Gingrich.